Rewind to that one situation where you found it hard to express your feelings through words. All of us have been posed in some kind of situation where we could just not get ourselves to expressing our thoughts freely. Or maybe it's just the fear of not being able to form proper words to describe this uncertain feeling. There could be a million reasons as to why we go blank or are hit by this numb emotion where the whole functioning just stops. And then you look back at it, maybe a while later, realizing you could have said so many things about the same. For me personally, this feeling kept on accumulating, and the problem was that no matter how much I tried for people to get to listen to what I had, it just never got to them. And as a person, you always try and make sure that you and your opinions both are heard. That's when unsaid got into the picture. All throughout it, there are bits and instances of me penning down what I've truly felt. Each one of us has had some incident in life which has forever been engraved in our head and has given us some kind of mental disturbance. And we could never voice it out to people because at the back of our minds there was always this one constant feeling. What if they don't tolerate it? Or what if I lose my mental peace in the attempt of trying to make them understand? Peace has 1,000 probable meanings. It all depends on which one you are referring to. It could be peace at home, or it could be world peace. For whatever context you take, there's always this one thing in common, and that for everything to begin, there has to be a base, a foundation. And this base here is our mind. More than any peace in this world, the foremost one is mental peace. Physical instability takes on huge loss of property, possessions, etc. No doubt. Mental instability robs a person of their life, no matter how young or how old they are. When everything was just starting out, I was trying to sort down my thoughts, and they transformed into what was called unsaid. But in the process of writing, I was constantly hit with this gush of emotions. What I find to be an unsaid topic, would people find it too? Or what if to them it's just a rather common topic anyway? And so even if the topics have a much common title, they've been written in the way I interpret them. Humans are some very fascinating creatures. Even after being given the ability to speak, we choose to refrain ourselves from doing so. Often, we go around making misconceptions for ourselves. Climate change and other inhuman behaviors have escalated at an exponential rate, no doubt. And how do we get to know about this? There are so many sources telling us something or the other differently. We have the facilities to grab onto any source and gain knowledge from it. Coming back, I want you to think of these two words, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is a condition where there's no sense of achievement or there's this constant feeling of uncertainty inside your chest. And the fact is, all of us have felt this. It could have been a very small part, but we've all been there. And you won't have a news channel telling you about this. And this something is so much more common in humans than we can ever imagine. Notice how when it's something like carbon emissions or maybe women empowerment, we know what or which part to choose because if viewed in depth, there are proper streamlined options for these things. Other than that, what about those topics that are taken up differently by each individual? Let's take attitude for example. So many of us, after instantly hearing the word, would label it as bad, or we'd use it in sentences like, he or she has so much of an attitude. So you're telling me that we call out people just for having so much of personalities? Sounds absurd, doesn't it? If you actually take out the type to type on Google, what is attitude? It'll tell you that attitude is the way a person thinks, feels, or behaves. There's nothing good or bad in having one. It's an inbuilt thing within the humans. Imagine all of this would have been so much easier if we just took out the time to communicate with each other. I'm a fellow Gen Z, and the people of my generation have this habit of normalizing everything possible. So when you're out there talking about the actual controversial topics, why not take into account true feelings too? We are the youth and we are the future. With conflicts increasing day by day, there are only a few things that a person can do practically sitting at home. Firstly, I believe that the youth should set up clear lines for building each other's support system. Look, there are a lot of things that you can do on a professional scale, like maybe approaching the authorities or talking to the council members. But before trying to do that, why not start with individuality? There are so many sites where your voice as a youth member can be heard in the form of blogs or maybe write-ups or in the form of speeches. Unsaid is a piece which is close to my heart, not because it's the very first book I've written, but because it exactly voices out a broad opinion on this topic. It screams to you the necessity of voicing out your opinions. Words, often left unsaid, keep on bottling up inside us, and emotions always find a way to burst out, to just express themselves out. Just like to this, there is never a manual to anything. It has to be written and it has to be created as a team. So as the youth of today, it is high time we realize that and start doing so. Thank you.